Hey, welcome to this discussion of episodes 5 and 6 of the Amazon Prime series Outer Range. Now, my guess is that if you're here, you've been sucked in by the mystery of the show. Me too. Now, this is going to have some spoilers from the previous episodes, but I will stay away from spoilers from the current two episodes. So Royal embarks on a quest to investigate that elusive dark mineral that is present on his land, only to intensify his growing rivalry with Autumn. And tensions grow as manipulations occur among various family members. So by the end of episodes 3 and 4, Trevor's body had been discovered on the mountain, but appears to have been dead only hours, not days, causing challenges for Deputy Joy in solving the murder. Royal plays an intense game of poker with Autumn, and by cheating, wins her pendant that she seems to just hold very dear. And Royal has then a run-in with Wayne at the hole that leaves him a bit bloodied. These next two episodes are really doubling down on the intrigue. And for as much mystery that is raised, I love that the show is beginning to tease out some of the answers. Now, it's not fully revealing anything just yet, but the clues it provides helps my mind to work overtime to put the pieces together. Based on what Royal discovers, I do have a theory as to what that hole is. So maybe at the very end of this video, I'll let you know what that is. But it is a spoiler, so I'm going to hold off for now. Josh Brolin is working overtime at creating a character who seems to be unraveling at every scene. He's becoming frantic and maybe even erratic, but he's doing his best to maintain an even-keeled persona, showing his family and the world that all is okay, when it really is the absolute opposite for him. I felt the anxiety and frustration coming from him too. He's quiet and doesn't speak a ton, but the mannerisms, facial expressions, and the emotions that he carries in his eyes really convey all the internal torment and struggle that he is experiencing. But Royal isn't the only one going through emotional uneasiness. I love that we're now getting more from Lily Taylor Cecilia. She's got her own set of mystery going on, and I'm really confused at many of her actions within these episodes. It's obvious that something is bothering her, and some of it could be just how she thinks she may have seen Rebecca driving through town, but also just the internal toil that her family is going through has got to be weighing on her. But with all that, she has some bizarre actions that had me scratching my head at what the heck was going on. The tension between Perry and Rhett is palpable. They're both coming apart at the seams just like Royal is, but they don't hide it nearly as well. Individually and collectively, their actions are sure to bring about all sorts of problems for themselves and then the family. But through all this, they're characters that I'm engaged with. I may not like them all the time, but I can't ignore them. The performances are emotional and bothersome. Now, after Wayne attacks Royal in the middle of the night at the hole in the pasture, some huge complications are set in motion for the Tillerson family. And they're under all sorts of stress, which manifests itself in very different ways within Luke and Billy. But the appearance of their mom, Patricia, only seems to make things more tense. She's like this whirlwind of chaos that blows into their lives, causes some turmoil, then blows out again, not having to face the consequences of her intrusion. And I love what this does for the family dynamic. And speaking of chaos, Autumn has got to be the devil when it comes to creating tension in people's lives. I love how she comes across as first as meek, and then at helpful or inquisitive, but then her deeper intentions begin to be revealed. She is a force to be reckoned with in how she's able to manipulate and then influence people with her words. Now, sure, it can be said that some of those that she manipulates are weaker in their resolve, and maybe even their damage to begin with, but she has the knack for working her way into their mindsets and then influencing their thinking. Imogen Poots is doing an awesome job at creating the character of Autumn. And there are some scenes with her that are wildly intense and slightly horrific to watch. We get more and more insight into her character with each episode, but there are still so many unknowns that are raised. Her being on the land does have a purpose. We know that from when she pushed Royal into the hole. But who are all the others in yellow that we see? These current episodes do shed a tiny bit of light on who they could possibly be, but nothing concrete yet. As we follow Deputy Joy investigating the case, we also know that she's running for sheriff. And because of this, she has to make more public appearances within the community. The drama that surrounds some of these is aggravating, but it's real. I like the conversations that she has as they really examine and question how much is too much when it comes to pursuing something. And that's a theme that is present throughout this series. At what point should someone stop going after the thing that they think they want? Is there a cost that finally becomes too great? Each of the characters faces this in different ways, and I think it's a very captivating and intriguing theme within the story. The landscapes and settings continue to be breathtaking. And like some have mentioned in the comments, I really want to see a mastodon that was talked about in one of those previous episodes. I mean, we've already got the buffalo that's impaled with Native American arrows, so why not show us a mastodon roaming up in one of the caves? I mean, the show looks to have quite the budget, so I think they could pull it off if they wanted to. We are very quickly arriving at the finale for the season, and the way that episode 6 leaves us, it's incredibly intense. There's some action that takes place, and I really appreciate how the camera doesn't do a lot of quick cuts, but instead follows the characters as they move throughout the setting. This provides a more effective and immersive watching experience and makes the scene feel all the more real. So overall, episodes 5 and 6 of Outer Range have somehow increased the intrigue and the anxiety of the show. And despite the quieter storytelling, the situations and scenes are very suspenseful and dynamic. The acting continues to blow me away, with each character gaining more depth, which doesn't necessarily mean that we like them more. In fact, I think we begin to like some of them less and less. But that's how engaging the narrative is. It may suck us in with some mysterious sci-fi elements, but then it creates such compelling human drama that it's almost impossible to turn away from. And the thematic question of how much is too much only adds to that feeling. I'm continuously surprised by the storytelling and its expert balance between fantasy and drama and making them all plausible. There's sex, no nudity, a ton of profanity, and a bunch of violence. I give episodes 5 and 6 of Outer Range 4.5 out of 5 couches. So what are your thoughts on this series? Do you have a favorite character? Let me know who it is in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me. Oh, wait. Okay, so this is a spoiler, so you can leave now if you don't want to hear it. But I don't think the hole is actually a hole at all. I think it's just the mineral that manipulates time. I mean, the reason I think that is because when Royal crushes Autumn's pendant and then rubs the black mineral all over his hands, it then allows him to briefly see into the future. The material was encased in amber, which then held it in a transportable form. But we can see it just move all across Royal's hand, and then it dissipates. So while the hole may not be absolutely flat, I don't think it's some super deep thing. Just a bunch of that mineral that envelops a person, and when fully coated in it, can actually transport them across time. All right, so what do you think? Am I way off? Maybe just slightly off? I don't know. I can't wait to see how the finale plays out, though.